All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is Peter Palmiotti of Human Art Studio, and this is Making Comics and Art, episode 93, getting up there. We have a little chat comment already from Nefarious. Hey, everybody! Have a great stream. He's he's currently doing his own stream, so you can watch that after you watch mine. Let's see, a couple things. Well, I helped a friend empty their storage today, and I came back here, and it's like, it's like 80 degrees out. And I'm all sore from that. Then I had somebody knock on my door. Somebody I met previously. They had somebody taking care of a cat, and they weren't able to take care of it, so they asked if I would foster it. So I said okay, and then they came back to me and said, "Oh, we're good. We're just going to keep it." But then they knocked on my door today and said, "Can you foster the cat?" I was like, "Yes, bring it, bring it." So yeah, I'm all sore from helping my friend out. Really, Arcadian, the man, the myth, the legend. And they said, "Here, have a cat." Yes. So Molly, another female cat, Stripey, Tabby. So that was just before the stream. And then I had internet issues. But we're finally here. And I'm super excited to introduce you to the pencil of Retro Issue 1, Rich Fuscia.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good to welcome.
This climate of different things going on. Just hope everybody's doing well out there. If you're watching, listening, I just hope you're having a good time. And it's Friday, baby.
That it is. So I put the links in the video description box, but but I also put it as the first chat. So I have you on Instagram. I have your YouTube channel. If there's anything else that you want to direct people to.
Okay, if I think of everything, I'll say something. But right now, it's just great being here with you, Pete. It's been a long time, man. How you been?
Yeah. Good. I mean, it was the end of the world last year, and we're still dealing with that. Although it seems to be at least like people's hold on it is relaxing. Like not many people here in my small town are wearing masks. Like, I'm out in Kentucky, and Kentucky wasn't hit as hard as other places, and especially my small town, we've been pretty okay. So, like the Walmart and convenience stores and restaurants are relaxing a little bit in recent times. So, how is it by you?
It's okay. I wound up getting it like last October. And
did you?
Yeah. And the weird thing about it is I wore a mask like from like April until like October every day, and I took a test and I was negative, and then I went back to work, and then my coworker got it. Says you better get tested again, and the next day I went back and I got it the next day. It's so weird. It's like it's so I don't know. It's so easy to get, I guess, because it's airborne. I don't know, but I got my shot, man.
Well, the shot is like getting it again, right?
Yeah, exactly. want to dwell too much on this, but I just hope and pray that we are being taken care of, and that we're not like looked at as numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for
No.
now. It for now for the downer den. No more downer den tonight. We're gonna have fun.
Yes.
Friday.
So just to start off with, I want to direct people to your Instagram and YouTube channel. So briefly, or however you want to do it,
Sure.
tell people what you're up to nowadays.
Okay. So since the pandemic started, I got a new phone, and the phone is like the resolution on the phone is so good, and I think the direction my artwork's going. I think it was just like a trajectory that just hit each other. It was like a crossroad that just hit each other, and I think what it was I just had to start thinking about my future, and I think the future is my YouTube channel, because there I can express myself in a way that I couldn't do, in a book, or in a piece of art, or a post, or a message board. And I think it's a way for people to get to know me, to see my personality, who I am, and inject it into my artwork, and inject it into things that I like. And I hope that the people who subscribe to my channel are into the same things I'm into. Like, I'm into Andrew Loomis, I'm into Frazetta, I'm into Cornwell, I'm into Sargent, I'm into a lot of different artists that I hope people will, the future generations will like discover, because it's up to us as artists to carry that ball for the next generation, and they can experience too. Because it's going to get lost in all the digital stuff. There's nothing wrong with digital. I love digital. It's a great medium. It's excelled, and it's progressed everything 1,000 miles an hour. But I still think that artwork, that art that's physical, that's with actual oils or chalk or ink, and the actual physical board, the physical paper, the physical Bristol board, I think that's more important too. And I think that's an aspect that shouldn't be lost. And I think we should carry that to the next generation and let them know how important it is. But my channel is Blueprints and Strategies. And my Instagram is Blueprints and Strategies. And I have a Facebook page too. And if you want to go, my Facebook, it's on my channel. There's a link in my channel, but basically it's just Blueprints and Strategies. So that's what I've been up to. And, I've been into like oil painting. I'm into a lot of oil painting and a lot of chalk drawing, and really appreciate all the subscribers that I have now, because I discovered that, like, to get subscribers, people want to learn. People want to like learn things, and I think I hit something, because for a while there, my channel wasn't making any subscribers, and then all of a sudden, I started doing these Andrew Loomis tutorials, or so I call it studying out Andrew Loomis, or I go over Andrew Loomis book and I start drawing Andrew Loomis, and what I'm doing is learning it with the person who's watching it with me, and hopefully they can understand it with me. You know what I mean? So I started doing these videos, and it just started taking off, and I've been getting like 2 or 3 subscribers a day, and it's like, I think these kids want to learn. So like the younger generation is coming up, and even they're like not even born yet, or the ones like, or so young that that this is their path. I think we should carry that ball and present it to them, and see if they'll want to, grasp what we're trying to tell them, and see how important it is, so they can pass it on to the next generation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, lots of fellow artists or artists, wannabes, I don't like to say wannabes, but, kids that want to be artists.
Well,
they like.
There's really good Jim Lee posted something, like he did like one of his first drawings he did with his high school buddy Frank Joe, and it was a very crude drawing. It was like not very good, but he said something about it, saying, "This is how I started, and you can be whatever you want to be, as far as you can, as far as you want to take it. This is just like an example and inspiration to you." And I think Tom McFarlane too. That's that guy, man. he's had so many rejections, and he saved all his rejection letters, man. And I don't know, it's just an inspiration to know that, you know, I mean, I really don't think we should like put down other artists, to be honest. I mean, even if they're trying, I mean, I understand the aspect of, getting called out or anything, but I think I think as far as the future generations, I think we need to give them a fair shake and a fair hand, because I know like the people around us are contemporaries. Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess you could say that, but I think man, it's like we gotta help them, man. And I think YouTube is the future, and I think this is the platform that is going to excel my art and my future as an artist, because I think it would be the foundation of everything that's linked to. Because I know I want to do like I want to sell. I mean, I'm selling paintings now on eBay. I'm like, but I want to like do prints and stuff like that. But right now I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm not going too much forward. I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving life. God is good to me, and I really do feel blessed, even in these times of stress and uncertainty. I know that God has a plan for me, for you, for everybody watching this, for everybody hearing this, and I feel good about my life, because I know that I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, you know, and that is my
Right.
art, my spirit, my legacy, my to be an inspiration to people, and to not be something that I'm not, which is I don't want to be. I want to be humble. That's what I want to be. So I got to be humble, because if I don't, then it'll come back. I know it will. You know, but
Hmm.
but the things I've been into, like the things I've been looking at the last couple of days. I've been looking at Frank Miller's Daredevil, and
Right.
his beginning when he first started Daredevil. It was I think it was like in a Peter Parker Spider-Man, or it was a guest, or anyway, it was like the third or fourth issue. You can see he's hitting his stride, and I think in that's what you got to do when you're in comics. I mean, if you're going to paint a painting and be like just be an artist, that's what I want to be. But I think to be a comic book artist, you have to immerse yourself in those pages, and you have to churn them out, and you have to hit a stride to where uh, you propel. That's what I saw in Frank Miller's work, and I really want to talk about Frank Miller in the future, but not really anytime soon.
um, I remember the very first issue of Daredevil that Frank did, and told my brother Jimmy that this guy's going to be something.
Yeah,
I could tell right away. And you say hitting his stride. Um, Doing a monthly book is grueling, and some of his best work on Daredevil was like when he was rushing to get it done. You could
but
tell,
yeah,
like there's a lot less detail and whatnot, but it was more thought out and precise. Like the language behind it and all that, and I mean, he's a fantastic guy to talk about. So
oh
I
yeah.
would love, you know.
But he had Klaus Janson to back him up. I mean, Klaus Janson was his his net. Like Miller's he's like the acrobat, and Klaus Janson was his net, because and it was really,
Yeah,
but because I think that's how he was able to do all that work. You know what I mean?
most definitely. And Klaus, he also colored a lot of issues,
Yeah, yeah,
and I always loved his coloring.
yeah. And I think Miller did like just breakdowns, like simple breakdowns. He did like the finishes too.
Yeah.
But I just love, and that was the time when I was buying comic books off the rack. I was going to 7-Eleven, walking to 7-Eleven, ride my bike to 7-Eleven, and going to the spinner rack and looking at all that stuff. I mean, you only buy so much because I only have so much money, and you have 2 to 3 issues, and Frank Miller was one that would never let me down. I mean, every time I would go in that stand and pick up that dirt, I knew that I was getting my money's worth even more. Just like being, enthralled with the line work, and just the sheer rawness of it, before any of that the Hollywood stuff pulled in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, it's like I had a couple of colorists attached to this project, Retro.
Okay.
And if people don't are watching and don't realize, Rich was the penciler of this issue, and I'm so glad you did the first issue, and even if you aren't continuing as the artist, at least for me, it's a template of everything that will follow.
Oh yes,
You know,
yes, and I mean, it's just like it's so soon. I know it's taken a while for it to come to see being published, but I know when it does, it's going to be something special. And like I don't know what plans are for like the colors, but man, I would like. I don't know if you ever seen the IDW artist editions.
the big black and white.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
images doing that, but with like a single issue. And I think it would be cool, like to do like a special limited run of a Retro #1, like in that format, like 100% size, just black and white artwork.
yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, man. That'd be really cool.
and since I'll be the guy publishing, I can make that happen.
Have you seen the image, like the image artist edition? Like
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like videos of the editions. I don't have enough. I don't make enough money to buy those, but
hold
I guess he's gonna get one. But thanks everybody for showing up and watching. If you have any questions for Rich or myself, please feel free to drop it in the chat.
Okay, I'm unprepared. I don't want to dig it up. Maybe next time.
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are fantastic. They're like you said, they're bigger and they're black and white. And some of them I saw like they had the blue lines on the pages, like it's the black and white artwork, but it's like printed from the page.
Yeah. And, it's like an exact scan of what it would look like if you're like holding it, and it's really cool to look at, because you really don't realize what goes into a page, and especially like guys like John Romita, like the way he inks, man, it's like
Right.
That dude was like a workhorse, man. You can tell it in his line, man, that he does this for a long time, and he does it for a while. But yeah. Anyway, I went down the IDW Artist Edition Avenue, and I need to come back.
Gotcha.
But
so we have.
Looking forward to like October. It's like Inktober up, and I was going to think about doing my own Inktober. It's going to be dedicated to Bernie Wrightson, because I think it's nice, like dedicating October to Bernie Wrightson would be really something I want to do. So that's something I'm looking forward to be doing, in the future.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Bernie was definitely like when I began my career. I looked at everybody, but Bernie was a big influence to, from getting me to from just being a crappy inker to a little better. just by looking at his work and even copying some of it, and I was looking at everybody, but Bernie Wrightson was a big one.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you do something like that, definitely let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post it on Instagram.
Yep.
I do have a list. I have a list of like some prompts for like 31, almost 31, but there's some really good ones, man. You got like Swamp Thing. You got like Frankenstein. You got Doc Stern. You got the Steve King stuff. You got Edgar Allan Poe. Really, really good, interesting stuff to draw.
What was that heavy metal? It wasn't a superhero, but it was Goofy Space something
That was
that he did.
Captain Stern, I think it was Captain Stern or Doc Stern.
Cap,
Captain Stern.
Captain Stern, I think. Yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So we have people in the chat. Thank you, Selena. I appreciate it, definitely. Saying your work is looking fantastic. You gotta have wit to be on YouTube, otherwise they kick you off. All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good night.
Is that it for night? Or, is it ending? Are we over?
No.
Okay.
Just was somebody in the chat was leaving. We're going. We'll go for an hour if you want to hang out that long.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Let me see what I'm working on.
Dee Dee, welcome. Yeah, definitely.
So what I'm doing is working on like a Frazetta type oil.
Yeah.
And
that's the wrong.
And what I'm doing is I'm copying a Frazetta ink drawing. I don't know if you can see it. I want to see. So I'm copying. It's like an ink drawing. I don't know if you see it. Yeah. Here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Frazetta ink drawing. So what I'm doing is I'm copying it, but I'm doing it in oils. So it's like a new look, and I get to learn from Frazetta, you know, because I've been into Frazetta the last couple of days. I got my best YouTube video is that Frank Frazetta unboxing. Man, I would have never realized how popular that thing would get. I mean, that's it's just always being looked at. It's getting like 20 views, like every 2 days, every week, or every week, man. It's just,
wow.
Anyway, it's just, I don't know. I just got to stop looking at numbers and just enjoy my life. You know what I mean? And that's because sometimes, you know, social media and the internet, the phone, it's addictive. It's an addictive thing. You know, it's always going on your YouTube, always going on Instagram, going on Facebook, you know, but
yeah.
Sometimes you got to turn it off, I guess. I don't know. I mean, do you have that problem?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like I go back and forth. I mean, I worked for the better part of my, you know, early career without computers, without being online, without worrying about any of that stuff, and just keeping my head down and working. So it's a distraction, somewhat necessary at times, but there is a lot of benefit. I wouldn't have met a lot of the people, you know, I sort of communicate with privately and you know, do private hangouts and whatnot. A lot of inspiration, just good friendships, because of all this, you know, internet stuff. Like Dee Dee in the chat, she's somebody I followed a long time, and her YouTube channel is huge. She does paintings and drawings and crafts, you know, all across the board. Her channel is amazing. Like, I would definitely recommend checking her out. And she's a master at it. She you know, her channel is blown up. Like your channel, it's growing steadily, and that's what you want, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't too much of it. I don't want to grow too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, me, I've been doing this, you know, kind of on and off since 2012, I guess. And it's like I'd like to hit 1,000 this year. That was sort of my rough goal last year, but um, you know, I was just happy to survive last year. But you know, I think if I get it to 1,000 this year, well, I'll be in a good way. Like because you could do more stuff once it hits 1,000. Then it's the next goal is like 10,000. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, and
Um,
also too is like YouTube's putting commercials in front of my videos, man. And it's like, man, it's like, why are you doing that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, you know, as far as I know, like videos always had commercials on it. Now they're putting them up front. I mean, it is what it is. It's like being on a network channel. Um, you you got to realize like YouTube is gigantic and there's like trillions of videos and creators on here. Um, I want them to make money so that YouTube doesn't go away. You know,
Okay, that's a way to look at it.
if
Yeah.
if there was if yeah, if there was a better solution for something else, like if YouTube started a GoFundMe uh, and said we can get rid of all our commercials, just make this GoFundMe reach a certain point, then I would support the hell out of that.
Okay. I
But
mean,
yeah, I don't.
but I mean, it would be good for them to give me like a half a cent, man, for just something, man, to make me feel like, wow, you know what I mean? But maybe I'm just
Yeah,
making.
well, once you reach 1,000 subscribers, you become part of the YouTube uh, program, partnership program. I was a part of it, but they changed the rules, so I have to get through 1,000 again. You know, um, but yeah, it is what it is. I think it's a great site, and there's so many awesome creators on here, and there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Um, but for artists, I've met more artists via YouTube than Facebook or anywhere else.
Right.
Um, and kind of what you're doing with your channel is how we get to know the creators behind the artwork. Just going on and working on a piece and talking about yourself or talking about your inspirations or
Yeah, exactly what I want to do. But what else was going on, Pete? How are things? And
uh
recently,
you know
I love it down there, man. I remember last time I was down there, we had like dinner at Denny's. Do you remember that?
yeah, yep.
That
Yeah,
just
I remember. I remember we met like halfway between,
yeah.
like in between where you were living and where I'm living, and
Well, actually, it was I had to go. It was like for work. I had to like go do some training.
right,
So
right,
it's like they let me use the van. So I went. I went and drove. It was like an hour drive to where it was like Lexington, right? So,
yeah,
and the whole stretch of highway, man, is just it's just dark highway. There's no lights, and it's like something out of a horror movie, man. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or somewhere. Like a deer's gonna come out and hit me or something. You know what I mean? That was a strange drive back, but I'm just glad to like drop those pages off to you, man, and meet you in the flesh, man, because we talked for so long. I mean, we've known each other for a while. I mean, I remember I was reminiscing. I was like, man, when's the first time I met Peter? And I think it was in '93 or was it 93, and we met through the London Night Studio. Remember that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, I'm guessing it was. I probably met you at a convention
No,
at
it
some
was
point. No.
no, it was through correspondence through the publisher at Alumni Studios.
Oh,
And
okay.
did we did a strike story. You remember? When you did it in
Yeah.
Wash. Remember you did it in Wash? I never saw those pages, man. I never saw them. I never
Oh
saw them.
man.
Got them back. Nothing, man. It sucks. I mean,
Um,
you know,
for those listening and don't know what we're talking about, that was no, I'm forgetting his name. I want to say Ethan. It's not Ethan. Hartso, Everett Hartso, of London Night Studios. His main book was Razor, and he had some other books. You mentioned Strike, and that was during the Bad Girl era. And working on Razor. This is a side note, but working on Razor inspired a story I'll eventually get to, called Bright Eyes, which I started, but I haven't done much with. Um, but Everett was a hot thing back in the '90s, with his Bad Girl comic, and I met Richard Pollard through that studio and through the work on Razor, and I met you. That's right. We talked on the phone
yeah,
at some point back
yeah.
then. I've been to a lot of conventions. I could have sworn we met you at a convention back then, but maybe not. I met a lot of people. But yeah, those fun times for like working for independent, getting paid something, but what it was, whatever it was.
Yeah, and then you got the Octo after that. I remember you said you got that, and I
Yep.
sent you a pinup, and you inked the pinup, man, and it's just like it was so good, and it was. I mean, the penciling was off, but when you inked it, it was really really good. I mean, I could tell you really put a lot of time in that, man. A lot of effort, a lot of um, smooth lines, man, and I could tell like you're inking now these pages, like you're focused on making it look good, on embellishing it, not to look too, I mean, polished, but with different textures and um, different degrees of contrast.
Yep.
When I got that page, I was surprised because I had no idea you were doing this, and I got it in the mail, and I was like, man, this is so good. And it was published in Press Book, and I still don't have those originals either. I mean, I got originals over there, but I did get some originals. It's just like I guess the ones that never got published, you just can never keep bothered to return.
Maybe. Um, I know. I did. I inked whatever pages I got. Yeah, I mean, this was back in the day. There was only the original pencils for me to ink over. And Selena says, I remember. I just looked up Razor. I remember her. She's awesome. Yeah, I miss the Bad Girl era. And Dee Dee says ads are good. That is how you will get paid. That's true. Eventually, you'll be in a position where YouTube will be paying you. So
Oh yeah,
that's how they do
hopefully,
it.
like I made a video like complaining about it, and my wife was like, "Don't do that, Rich. You're just looking bad." All right, because I put it up, and then like
Yeah.
it was up for a day, and I was like, maybe she's right. Oh, and that like
Yeah.
the Inktober video I did about Alfonso Dunn, the whole
Right.
controversy with Parker. Man, the first thing
Right.
I showed to my wife, I did the first one, and I showed it to my wife. She's like, you're going to get sued for harassment. And I was like, okay. And so, well, will you sit there with me so I can talk about it without, getting in trouble? So the one that you see is the third one, because I did one where I was screaming. I scared my son. And I was like,
Oh boy.
and this was like before I even understood what it was like to be on YouTube. I was just so fumed about it. And my son was upstairs, and I was like talking really loud, and I was cursing, and I was doing all this stuff, and I was like, no, I need to chill out. So I did another one, and that one was like a softer version. My wife was like, no. So I was like, all right. I just took a shower too, man. I was like, ready to go to bed. And I was like, all right, come on, let's just do it real fast, because I want to get this out, because it's one of my best performing videos, because I hit the algorithm with that, and people are interested in controversy and Inktober, especially artists.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, controversy sells if that's
Yeah,
your thing. It's like everybody sooner or later has something that they're passionate about and want to rant about it. That's going to happen to everybody. But like, I never look towards, even though I know it would be a huge success, but it's like, I'm not a controversial guy, really. I'm just, I'm another artist just trying to make a living and doing my own thing and
yeah.
having fun.
That's what I want to do. And I did a Johnny Depp video, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and
Right.
I took that down, man. I was just like, I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. This is not working, and it wasn't, because something, when you do something, sometimes you have a bad vibe about it, you have a bad feeling about it, and you shouldn't have done it, or something like that. And that was what the Johnny Depp video, and I took that down, and I painted over that painting. I painted like a Frankenstein painting. Because yeah, sometimes you do things in a moment, and then you've realized that it wasn't a good idea after all. A lot of times wasted, but you just can't show it. You can't do it. You gotta get rid of it somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I've done plenty of hangouts with other people, and things have come up, and you discuss them or not, or whatever view, give your point of view on it. But yeah, it's just, overall, people looking at my video thumbnails would never guess, like, oh, that's a controversial channel, because that's not what I want to do. Yeah.
Right. You're in the right direction. You're doing the right thing, man. I mean, I don't want to talk about, things are going on right now, man. Everybody's talking about it. So what do I need to talk about it for? I mean, I was going to do a video
Right.
when I got COVID. I did like a vlog, because when I got COVID, I had no idea what to expect. I was expecting to get all the symptoms, getting a headache and losing your taste and being nauseous, no energy. But I didn't feel any of that. The only thing that happened to me was I had no taste or smell. That was the only thing.
Right.
And it was, it's just one of them things, but it was like a blessing in disguise, because it was October, so I got to do the Inktober prompts all October. So I would be living the artist life pretty much, getting up, having a cup of coffee, and start drawing and inking and scanning and posting and socializing, and I did videos too. I recorded every video I did, and I put them up on YouTube. And I did it as like an exercise, man. And it was just like, I think I went a little overboard with it. I think next Inktober, I'm just going to do what I can and do quality work instead of quantity, because I did every prompt. I did like 31 prompts, 31 videos.
Yeah.
But like I had COVID at the time, so I had all the time in the world to do it. So I pretty much lived like an artist life for a week, and nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But I do
No,
plan, I plan on I plan on doing that full time soon, but only if it's God willing.
yeah. So, who were your like early artistic influences?
I think as far as back I can remember, it would be like my uncles because my uncles kind of drew. I would watch them draw, and I would want to do that too. And like my cousins, some of my cousins drew really pretty. I mean, in my preconceived, my toddler, kid mind, I was like, wow, I want to do that. I mean, and people are saying, well, you got talent too, so so be my uncles. But as far as comics is concerned, I think the first person I ever wanted to copy was I copied a Bob Kane Batman. I like
Hmm.
got the book out and I copied the whole thing like in a comic book form, did like watercolors and stuff, and I was showed around. I was like really into Bob Kane when I was a kid, man, because I couldn't my kid mind couldn't comprehend what Neil Adams was doing. It was just wasn't I was interested. I was interested in the crudeness. You know what I mean? I related to
Right.
the drawings, and so it because and I don't know something about the Joker, the way he drew the Joker and the Batman, the Robin, and just the whole like because that whole like run it did feel like at that time period, and I was just I just felt like when I was copying that stuff I was like going back to that time. About that and that's going to be about Jack Kirby because when I was a kid I inherited my cousin's comic books and he had the whole Fourth World collection, man. And
Nice.
I was like, and I looked at Jack Kirby like I bought like a couple like Marvel reprints, Marvel's Greatest Stories with Fantastic Four. I bought a few of those, and I think I had the Origins of Marvel Comics Stanley uh, uh, paperback or
Right.
book. Um, but when I looked at this Fourth World, I was like, wow. I was just like, what? I mean, this dude is like the giant of drawing these things, man. I was like, and and my adolescent mind was just so hooked in those lines, man. And people give him such a hard time, man, for those squiggly lines, man. I'll tell you what, man. Kirby was a master before that, like in the '50s, man, when he was doing like the him and Joe Simon when doing the DC stuff, man. He was already mastered like, and Carmen Infantino, man. He already mastered doing that stuff. He just evolved to who he wanted to be. He didn't care, man, if you didn't like the squiggly lines, man. And I tell you what, man, when I saw like those double page spreads, and there was one issue of the New Gods. I think it was New Gods #5, man. I'll tell you what, I don't know how that got past the comic book code, man. But that thing was so freaking violent, man. It was just, and I was just like, whoa. I don't know how he got away with it, man. And and it's great that he's being recognized, man. I mean, people recognize. I mean, now if you go like to a regular person on the street and say, um, "Who's Jack Kirby" or "Who's Steve Ditko," they're just looking in the face, go, "I don't know what you're talking about." But
Yeah.
people are projected into this. They know who he is, And I think a lot of people just think it's created by one dude, but it's a group effort, and not just them, but the inkers and the letterers and colorists, and,
Yeah.
just holding
No,
it.
definitely. Everybody added their own little 2 cents to it.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going to say? Oh, like I remember those. You remember those Treasury editions that Marvel
But
put out?
hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go through the chat. Let's see. Cool.
Man, I at one today, man. It's funny
There
that
you go.
got Doctor Strange.
And that's Ditko?
Yeah, Dick right here.
Yep. Cool.
It's like the artist edition before the edition. And you got the smell, man. You got the smell, the newsprint. You ever do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, times, man.
Yeah, I remember those. And I believe there was one for 2001 by Jack Kirby.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was like a movie adaptation into comic form. Obviously the best one, hands down, was the Muhammad Ali versus Superman.
Oh, I have that too. Man.
Yeah, those are great. But like, speaking on Jack Kirby, like, there's a it's not about drawing real life, when you're working in comics, and it's finding your voice, which some people see as style, and making it, like using everything in the kitchen sink to get across the story and the feelings of the characters and the environment and all that. And there's a certain simplicity to it. There's a definite design to it. And that's what Kirby thrived in, like this designs of his alien worlds and technology and, the gods and the superheroes, and like you felt like everything was real, even though it was like, just looking at a cartoon. But yeah, he was a master. And, it's like, I never was inspired to draw like Kirby, but there's a lot of knowledge in his work. And, I'll just bend some of that to my whatever style emerges from me. It's like, I don't even know what my style is. It changes every day. But once I'm already planning, like, issue 2 of this book, retro, and so forth. And I know after I get a couple of issues under my belt that it will direct itself, and I'm fine with that. So I don't think I've told you, and maybe you haven't heard from me, but what I'm doing for issue 2, the villain is going to be a little goofy. It's a character called Button Man, and I got my brother Jimmy's permission to use his likeness as the villain.
Well, hey man, if you need help with drawing the face, man, let me know, man. Seriously.
Will do. I actually a couple of years ago I drew a birthday card for him. So I drew him in his birthday card, and it looked like him. So I was like, yeah, I could do a comic book with him in it.
Could I at least do it? That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. That would be awesome. Selena says, the smell of new books, comic ink, it's like summer rain.
Yeah. There's nothing like some newsprint, man. I love the smell of newsprint in the morning. It smells like victory.
Yep. But the
so
art has a tactile,
Jack Kirby, Bernie Wrightson. I remember getting Swamp Thing from the stand, and I was like, at that time I was like into monsters. I mean, I was into monsters more than I was into superheroes. But the stuff, I mean, the Jack Kirby stuff I inherited that. But the stuff that I bought on my own would be the monster stuff. So I bought Swamp Thing and the Creepies and the Eries, and then I started getting into the old stuff, like the Silver Age, like the Silver Age Spider-Man, Steve Ditko, and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it's just like whoever inspires me, from if I look at something that inspires me, my favorite artist at the moment, you know what I mean? And,
Yeah, I mean, I personally like. I'm inspired by everybody, good or bad or whatever. Like all styles, all artists. Um, I remember like me and Jimmy grew up and read a lot of things, and he collected his books and I collected my books, and we read each other's and whatnot. Um, and we thought there was an artist called Frank Robbins. I don't know if you remember
oh
him.
yeah, he's
Uh,
kind of yeah, Milk Kniff.
yeah, he did Invaders,
Yeah,
which
yeah, I love that.
was
Oh yeah,
Captain America, Submariner, and the Human Torch. I think it was the original Human Torch. Um, and his characters, like, arms were flailing and legs were flailing, and we got a good laugh at it. But we went back years later, and it's like, he's pretty good at what he does.
I do, man. It's like you look at an artist, it's like, oh man, this dude's I don't like this dude. And then like years later, you're like copying it, studying it, and you're like, wow, what makes it so good? Your taste change, they mature, man. You got
Yep.
to let it mind. Sometimes you don't get it at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Um, like I always said, like, for me to fully appreciate artwork of a comic, I need to read the book. It's one thing to just look at the artwork, but if you immerse yourself in the story and then look at the artwork, you really appreciate it that much more.
Yeah, but I think too, like the artwork draws you in. The artwork makes you want to pick it up. Okay,
Yeah.
because when I look at a comic book, the first thing I do is flip through the pages. Man, I want to see what the artwork's about. Then I'll go into the story, and if I like the story, I mean, then I'm moved by it. I want to read, see what's going on in the next one. That's the whole thing about comics is like you got the cover, man. When you walk in, you see the cover, you see the colors, you see the art. And it's like, wow, what's going on with this? And you open it up, it's like there's something that you're going to immerse yourself in, with the colors and the style, and just the feeling of it. And you can control the pace. You can read a couple pages, put it down, go back to the end, see what's going on in the end, because you just can't wait to see what's going to happen. And sometimes it's just like flip through, and because then when I started going out and buying the comics on my own, with my own money, I was buying like the John Byrne, because it was artists I was interested in. I wasn't interested really in the titles. Just like who am I going to want to take home and look at over and over and over again? You know what I mean? So um, I would get John Byrne, anything John Byrne did, anything John Buscema did, anything that George Perez does, and Mike Zeck, and
Mike Zeck's great. George
um,
Perez is great. Yeah. Mhm.
Frank Miller, and then Sienkiewicz, and
Yep.
um, and then they would have the Marvel Super Specials. I would buy those, man. And there's one book called The Warriors of the Shadow Realm. It was like a John Buscema paint book with he had like Peter Ledger, Perez.
I
Man,
remember that.
man, these books were like so beautiful. You can get them real cheap, man. I mean, if people are listening to this, go buy these books because they are a beauty to look at. It's like John Buscema, man, because it just enhances his pencils, man. And then uh, for a while, I just stopped books, and then when I started again, I was I met this dude, and he was like, "Man, you gotta see this dude Todd McFarlane, man." He's like, "Dude's awesome, man." So I was like, "Sorry, I'll check him out," because it's the first time I've been back to comic book shop. I opened it up. It was like his first. He did his own Spider-Man book. He was writing this,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
looked at, whoa, what, no, I'd never seen a book like this. This is like underground, but and for me to look at his work for the first time when he's at that point, man, I was just like, whoa. I had to go see what this dude was about because he just did Spawn, and he was in Atlanta, and I went and saw a panel, and I sat there for like 2 hours. I was in the front row. I want to see what this dude is like, man. he was just like a ball of energy, man. He was just going back and forth, and I was like, wow. And then he went to go sign books, practically a line around the building. And I was like, wow, man, this dude's got some energy. But I have to say, I did do for Inktober last year. I did a Rob Liefeld piece, and Rob Liefeld liked it. And I think I would probably much be in the camp of Rob Liefeld as far as the personality, because I think the experience in Tom McFarland is like those guys have to be their own energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And experience in Tom McFarland. Okay, so if he's like this, then Robin Liefeld's probably like that, and all the founders of the Image thing are probably like that too. I guess I'm just speculating. But anyway, that's when I started getting into the Image stuff, and then that's when I draw my own stuff, right? And I bought a portfolio. Well, I bought a portfolio, but I didn't get 2 photocopies. I just gave my originals, and I showed some people, and some people were going to give me some work, but I couldn't give it to them. I had to give them like, oh no, it was a dude. He was from Marvel, and I did some Wolverine, and they weren't very good. And I'm glad I didn't get the job, but he wanted to give me a job, but I couldn't give him the originals. Like, look, what you do, just go home, photocopy them, and send them to me. And he gave me his card and his phone number and everything. And so it was like I did that, and then I sent them to him, and then like the idiot that I am, I put a whole bunch of my underground like outlaw stuff in there.
Right.
He didn't return my call. I mean, he didn't call me back. So I called him a drunk. The drunk called him, and I don't remember what I said, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to get this job.
Yeah, never drunk call anyone for a job,
especially a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
And so I think Blacklist. And I think, those are the times, man. Trying to break in, send your stuff out.
Yeah, and and they don't want to see any, risque stuff up at Marvel anyway. It's like.
I remember
that's more.
Yeah.
That's more like you send that kind of stuff to heavy metal, and they appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I remember showing all the London Light Studio stuff I did and the Tim Vigil stuff I did. I showed Dan DeClaro, and he looked at it. And after he looked at it, he looked at me and said, "Don't hurt me." And I was like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere to do. Anyway, I'm glad I've never really broke in that early, because it would have been hard, probably in a flash in the pan, and I don't want to be that.
Yeah. Oh, man, I hear you. So it's the world is so different now than when we were making our way through comics in the early 90s, and that's why I shifted to, like, I just want to make my own books. I freaking love inking, and I'll do that to the day I die. But I'm going to make a lot of my own books, because page rates are crap now, and you're better off just working on your own books and making money that way. You can make a better buck. But it's also like not having anyone to tell you what's right or wrong artistically, or like, if you want to experiment, you can experiment. If you want to, whatever you want to do, and it's the freedom of that.
Yeah. I don't know the state of these companies now, because they're owned by these conglomerates, these huge corporations. I mean, it seems like during COVID, like they're like hanging by their fingernails pretty much, But I don't know how it is now. But I know, like, I think the future, like people, like Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all that stuff. I think that's going to be the future of people making money.
Yeah, I mean, and it has been. That's the thing. It has been. It's like Selena in the chat knows she's done a bunch of her own campaigns with her husband. Um, I got a couple of prints of ink for a friend, and his Kickstarter is going now. I'm working with somebody else. I'm inking like 6 or more covers for another Kickstarter campaign. And it's better money. It's better money than you can get with some of the small independent publishers. As far as like Marvel and DC, like they'll always be around. They're, like you said, they're owned by bigger companies, and really don't have to make a dime. Marvel and DC make money via the toys and the movies and the yada yada yada. The bed sheets. Has nothing to do with the comics.
Boots,
Boots, underwear. uh, but yeah, I mean, like, to me, they lost me when they stopped doing continuity. When they started restarting every series every 3 to 6 months. It's ridiculous. It's freaking stupid.
Yeah, I think it's style over substance.
Yeah. It's not to say that magic doesn't happen, but I'd much rather follow friends online and contribute to their campaign. Actually, right before I came here, I pledged to a thing. Let's see if I remember. Tom Rader. I forget his last name, but he does a book called Ice Pick, and he's just a small independent guy. He did 3 issues of his book before. He just finished the 4th one, and he threw it up on Kickstarter. And it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. So, when I after the I guess the when oh no, I think before the Todd McFarlane. No, I think around the time I discovered Todd McFarlane, I discovered Tim Vigil, and
Right.
uh, um, I discovered that whole thing, and the Tim Vigil thing was kind of resonated with me. I mean, when I was at that age where I wanted to be like a rebel, pretty much, and just break all the rules and be as nasty as I can be. And looking back, it was a mistake. But uh, if I could do it over again, I would. I wouldn't be as raunchy as I was. I did some really raunchy stuff, and some of it didn't get published, which I'm really happy it didn't. But it was the artistic aspect of doing something like that and doing something so nasty but making it look so beautiful. I don't know if that to me is healthy or not, but I know that was something that resonated with me with that line work. And I was in a Clyde Barker too, man. I was in some dark days back then, man. Really, man. I was in the belly of the beast, bro. But so what I did was I was reading Clyde Barker stories and I was drawing them out like a comic book. And I took him to Tim Vigil. He was like in town, and he's like, wow, you need to prove on this and this and this, but you got a lot of talent. And he's like, here's my address. Send me something. Next time you do something. So it inspired me to do that. And he's like, I want to publish. Like, whoa! And that was the first time I felt like the experience of doing something professional. I don't know if I mean I guess you would call it becoming professional, but for the first time I felt like I was doing something. I was in the right direction, and especially someone like Tim Vigil. And I was like, oh, cool. So he put like in this anthology book, and he paid me like a professional rate, and I was like, this is so cool, man. And I was so obsessed with Tim Vigil that like I wanted, I would call him. Like this is before internet. I would just call him out of the blue, and sometimes like he'd be receptive and give me some pointers and tell me what to do, what to buy, what to look at. And then sometimes like I would try to say something. I don't know. I just couldn't get it out right. He was trying to finish my sentences for me. So I was like, oh, I should just like not call him anymore. And then one time I called out Blue, and he was like, hey, I was like, hey, Tim, what's going on? He's like, hey, how's it going? It's like, how you been doing? And we started having a conversation. And then he's like, how's the tour going? I was like, huh? He thought I was Danzig, and I was like, no, I was Rich. I was like, and then like it was like, I was like, oh man, no. But anyway, he is so cool, man. I would see him at conventions, and I mean, I would just sit there and talk. I would just hang out with him, if I could. But there was one convention I did, man. He was in Dragon Con, and usually when he goes to a convention, you have like someone to sit with you, watch your table if you want to go to the bathroom or something. Well, he had no one with him, and I was like, hey man, because usually I see him, I was like, he has his assistant with him. I was like, hey man, your sister? And he was like, nah. And he has this huge setup, man. He's got like the files, there's a banner in front of his table, and he's got stuff, man.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to do a panel, and he didn't want to do the panel, so he was like, hey man, I'm gonna walk around and watch my table. I was like, yeah. And he left. He was gone for like an hour, man. And people were going, where's Tim? We had a panel, and he didn't want to do it, man. He just left, man. Wow, like, sitting here all this stuff, man. Like people who didn't know it was Tim Vigil, that's probably think it was Tim Vigil. That was the last time I saw him, man. That was the last time I saw him, man. I know he's doing good. I mean, I think he did. He did a really good interview with him on the cartoonist kayfabe thing, man. And you got to really know who he was and his artistic journey. And but he was a real inspiration to me. So he was a huge influence to me. And then I wanted, I guess he was kind of a mentor to me. I don't know, man. It was a weird situation because like he kind of kept me at a hand's distance. So I was just like, I take what I can, man. And I was sending him everything I did, man. And he'd be really receptive to me, man. And I always love him, man. Because he treated me as a person, and as an artist and someone. Really, I really revered him. I really appreciated that, man, because it meant everything to me. Even though I was I wasn't very good. I mean, everything that you saw, man, I was a Tim Visual clone, man. And I was good to show my stuff. He's like, man, you do a lot of Tim Visual in you. I was like, yeah. And like, they're like, oh no. I was like, what? No. I guess some people. I don't know. I guess some people did. They didn't like him. So I take what I can.
Yeah, he's a taste. It's like anybody who doesn't really like extreme stuff can't see past that. But I always loved his work. I never actually like sat down and read Faust, but I love the artwork and the intense work he put into it. And I saw recently, I bookmarked it to watch it at some point, but I'm not sure if it's new, but there's like a 2, maybe 3-part Tim Vigil interview on YouTube.
Okay.
You could just kind of, just search for it and find it.
Well, it's a really good. It's called Cartoonist Kayfabe. They did a Tim Vigil shoot interview, and they sat down for like 2 hours. Man, he was just going over his whole career. And
that's cool. Yeah, I like kayfabe, so I haven't seen that, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's very interesting. That's what got me hooked in with those guys. And those guys are. I didn't realize, when I was doing it, like for instance, like last year, I was going before I saw that channel. I was like, man, I'm really ashamed of that stuff I was doing back in the '90s, man. That stuff was terrible, man. It was distasteful. It's terrible. But these guys, they're making me realize that it's kind of important. But it's part of history, But
yeah,
I mean, I kind of want to forget, But I guess I'm not that popular, and people probably don't even know my name, so I'm really not worried about it. So, because I've gone all through these years, no one knows who I am. So,
I'm sure some people know you. It's fun. Oh, you want to hear a little funny story? Uh, I was walking to like our 24-hour convenience store to get something, and it was like midnight. And so I'm walking down the block, and I hear a voice from like this car coming and passing me, and I go, "Are you talking to me?" And he goes, "Yeah, you look like somebody I know." It's like, I don't think I know you. But he's like, "I used to live on this block." Yeah, yeah, I'm living over there. Yeah, yeah. And he goes, "Are you the artist?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay." it's just it's just weird. It's like I'm not like I'm completely open online about what I do and everything, but in real life, um, I'm the guy who's like in his apartment every day working. You know,
Right? Yeah,
nobody sees me. It's like, so they must be talking about me when I'm not around.
you're the artist, man. You're an artist.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
yeah.
I just
Love-
I thought that was pretty funny.
Hey, you're the artist.
Hey,
Yeah.
the artist. Yes, I'm the one artist. That's what.
How much you charge? What you charge? I want you to do a business card.
Oh my god. It's the worst thing to get hired by people in the area. there was some kid who came to me last year, wanted to get a tattoo and me to do the artwork for.
Okay.
I did rough sketches, and I was like, well, you have to pay me at least half. And he's like, yeah, I'll have it for you next month. And I never heard back from him, and then he moved, so I have no idea where he went.
And
I should have charged him up front.
I was trying to get into being a tattoo artist, man. I took it seriously. I was like, I want to be a tattoo artist. I want to know what it's like. I want to know how to get into it, right? So I went to an artist, man. I was like, hey, man, I want to be a tattoo artist, and I need to know, what should I do? And he's like, don't do it. I was like, why? Because you're too old. And I was like, okay. All right.
Oh boy.
But you got, because I guess you got to do like an apprenticeship, and then in the apprenticeship is first of all you got to pay them like $3,000 to $5,000, and then you get sit there for years and clean their crap, and then
I have a friend who does it. When I moved to Kentucky, I moved to Bardstown initially, and my friend living there was doing tattoos. Then he eventually opened his own shop, and he was like, "If you want to do this, let me know." But I really just thought about it for a long time because I knew like it's easy money once you do it. But it's like I don't want to draw on people. That doesn't inspire me.
yeah, and so yeah, so I went up getting a tattoo just to don't experience it. And the dude was like, well, if you really want to be a tattoo artist, I recommend you just go around and tattoo artists and get tattooed. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be like and I did. I went to another tattoo artist, and the dude, it was so nasty, man. It was like, I was having the hardest time getting him to give me what I want, because I drew it out like on a piece of paper, and he did something really a lot larger, and I was like, no, this is how I want it. And so he was getting ready to do it, man, and his tattoo machine, like, it was busted up, and he had to like get a soldering gun out while like I'm sitting here.
Jesus.
Like, I was like, man, forget it. Tipped him $20. I was like, out of here, dude. And I never went back. That again, man. Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're making your own art with lame tools, but if you're a tattoo artist, you should have gear that works.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I had gotten the job at this place, and the dude worked there. He was a tattoo artist. He was a licensed tattoo artist, so I could have gotten him to help me. But at that
Right.
point, like the water was like the light was squashed out in that thing a long time ago, man. It really
Mm.
was. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You
Yeah,
know, with art, there's so many ways, you know, ways to go and things you can do, but it's really whatever inspires you.
now there's this one tattoo artist I follow on Instagram. He draws no idols, or he draws. That's his name. It's called He Draws, and he was on Ink Master, and he was so good, man. And so he did like this little like a workshop for like $20. He would like draw and he had some questions, and I asked him,
All
I was like,
right.
what's it like working a tattoo, like drawing with a tattoo gun or a tattoo machine, whatever. And he was like, it was like drawing with a sewing machine. And I was like, I don't know if that drawing with a sewing machine. I don't know, man. It don't sound too.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Uh-uh. But I got a tattoo, and I'm not proud of it. I was thinking about getting removed this little thing, but I'm not going to be ashamed of it. No, just kidding. I'm just. I mean, I have thought about getting something, but I just I'm farther away. The older I get, man, it's like why, you know.
Yeah, I always wanted to get one, but I can never think of what to get. You know, it's like
So
the
expensive.
only the only thing that comes to mind is doing like a tattoo of the retro logo.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because you know it's the logo is my design, and then it's it's retro. It
Yeah, man.
doesn't have to mean the comic book. It could just mean anything retro. So,
Yeah. But when I got it, it was like it was nothing that I really expected because I expected to really hurt. But it was like kind of like getting a needle. You know, looking at like you get a shot, and then it kind of like it tapers off to like heat. You know, and the only time you feel it is like when you
yeah,
do like thing like they have like because I think they have like one with like four like blades or four needles at one time, and it's like you can feel that.
yeah,
And I can see why people want to get more because um, it was like you either want to get another one or you don't want to get any more. That's you to get the road you go down, you know. And I
yeah. I mean,
like wait all these people get all tatted up because it's kind of a feeling. It's I don't know what your kind of feeling would be, like, but I can understand people.
man, there was this kid in town. You know, it was him and his girlfriend, and he got his girlfriend to give him a tattoo, and only recently I heard they broke up. So it's like, man, imagine having some artwork by your former girlfriend on your body. It's like,
Oh,
never would that.
yeah, people like they'll go on like they'll go buy a tattoo machine from Amazon and then make videos themselves tattoo themselves. Man, it's just awful, man. It's really awful. Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes. So, my intention is to get this book out this year. Um, I'm currently on page 3. As you know, it's 28 pages long,
What page?
story wise.
Sorry, I didn't hear which page.
Page 13.
Cool, cool.
So, but there's also a lot of extra stuff that will be in the book. And actually, the first issue is going to be 40 pages.
Right.
One of the things I'm doing is I'm having the first 3 pages where I show the pencils, the inks, and then the coloring without the lettering. And the coloring is going to be pretty simple. It's not the. I know I sent you a color version of the cover. That unfortunately the colorist fell through. Then I had somebody else and they fell through. So I decided I'm going to color it myself, and I'm going to go with a simple 80s kind of coloring, maybe a
Yes.
little bit like animation,
Yes.
like there's red and then there's a darker red means indicating shadow, that kind of thing. And it's funny, like you mentioned, like Klaus Janson before, like I loved his coloring, so I'll be looking at a lot of old Daredevil issues and picking up stuff from that. And yeah, so I'm gonna get somebody to flat it for me because that's most of the chore.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, it'll be fun. Once I'm done with the inking, I'll tackle that and then get this book done and out.
out, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So what are you excited for? Anything coming up that you're going to be a part of, or just
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much the same?
I did this thing called Weapon X. It's a tribute to Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X
Right.
series. And what we're doing is we're picking a page and then recreating it ourselves in our own style. And so it's got a bunch of different artists involved. And I finished 4 pages for it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I love studying Barry Windsor Smith because his line work is so different from all the other artists. I mean, I've realized that his line work is to his anatomy is completely different from any normal person or any I wouldn't say normal, but any normal way of doing it. He would the way he would feather things in different directions and follow the muscle tendons. Man, I was just like, this is something that needs to be explored a little more. And so I got a chance to do that. And during last October, I did a Barry Windsor Smith prompt, and I did a Weapon X, and then I did Barry's portrait in the drawing, and it got like a huge spurt of views all of a sudden. And I don't know what that is contributed to, but I believe it would be he just came out with a new book called Monster. And,
Yeah.
I think it piqued people's interest, but somehow I kind of hit the algorithm with that one. So anybody watching this, I got the Barry Windsor Smith uh, Kayfabe-tober prompt of me drawing Barry Windsor Newton, Barry Windsor Smith. Man, who's Barry Windsor Newton? Somebody?
There is none. Thanks, Dee. Thanks for coming by. It's great to have you in the chat. Take care. I remember, like, everybody always used to make fun of Barry Windsor Smith. It's BWS.
BWS. Black
with Stars.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Like any space comic that you worked on, it'd be BWS in the background.
Like, didn't know that. That's so
yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I've always been a fan of his work, and frankly, like his people are a little quirky looking, but I love that. I mean, that's why I love like Bernie Wrightson. Like his people are very quirky looking. And I saw like a couple of videos where they were showing off the Monsters book, but it just looks heavy-handed, and maybe I just need to see better examples of the artwork, like because it looked like you looking at the page from a little distance. I really want to see it up close because it's hard to tell. Like if it just looks like cheap cross hatching, or I'm getting like a not like I think the like his Weapon X and some of his X-Men stories, like one shots that he did, the lines were gorgeous. Every line was gorgeous. And Monsters looks like Yeah, somebody went in with a marker afterwards and did all this cross hatching to make it look busy or something. Right?
I don't know. I I don't know. I love his line though. His line work is like very inspirational. When I copied it,
Yeah, I mean,
I did it with chalk too. I didn't do a lot of heavy rendering. I did like a lot of almost like because it can be a black and white book. It's not going to be color. So I did like some fine charcoal with uh, with inking and computer lettering, and it came out real nice. I'm real proud of it. And it's called Weapon.
yeah.
It's spelled Weapon ECHHH, and so you can find it on Facebook. I think there's still some people that are kind of lagging of getting the book finished. It's like 75% finished, and I think once that's done, it'll be out, and the full. It'll be fun to look at too because you see different people's styles. You know, everybody has a different style, and it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. And then after that, uh, I'm just doing my videos. I'm painting. I'll probably be um, uh, entering my paintings in ship and doing my studies and my YouTube videos and just enjoy my life, and just be thankful who I am and God is in God's world because there's so much going out there right now, man. It's we don't know. The future's uncertain, man. What's going to happen, man? And it's just like sometimes it's just like I don't know what's going on. Have you gotten the shot? Have you?
No, I actually haven't.
Do you think?
Because I mean, I spend 99% of my time in my apartment,
Yeah, they help.
and I wear a mask, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. And the great thing too is the honor system, man. It's just like, oh, I'll go wear a mask. I'm not there. It's an honor. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I wanted to. Okay. I got a couple of things. One thing I wanted to ask you is, do you remember an artist, P. Craig Russell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did some Marvel work. He did Sandman. He did his own books and whatnot. He was a big influence for myself. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
loved his work.
Yes.
Um, one of the old timers, Gil Kane was a big influence. John Romino Sr. His work had such bold lines. He must have been an inspiration for like Klaus Janson. Um, you could it's like my brother loved Klaus Janson too, and it's like you could cut his work with a side of a thick brush or something. It's like the lines he put in, and then there'd be like little tiny lines right next to it. His stuff was awesome. But yeah, the with Pete Craig Russell, it was a lot of his design, and and he loves to do lettering in like his pinup work and covers. Um, yeah, this is stuff I want to like incorporate. Of course, Will Eisner is another fabulous artist. Um, so much. I was so heavily into his Spirit comics, um, and I I hope eventually there's some big book of Spirit work. There might be. I know there's collections, but they always seem cheap.
Oh man,
Um,
I have the artist edition, Will Eisner, and it's like
yeah,
huge. It's like they didn't work on 11 by 17. They work on something a lot larger, man. And almost like
they did.
newspaper.
They did two up. Yeah, everything was twice up
Yeah,
size wise.
yeah. It's
Um,
kind of different looking at them that big because I mean, you used to look at them small, and then when I look at them that large, I mean, I like. I mean, I like Eisner's line. It's soft. It's a soft, smooth.
yeah, I loved his the more serious books he did later in life, where it was about people just living in cities and just real stories and that was very different artistically than his spirit work. But yeah, I've been wanting it to do like actual videos where I edit and stuff, where I just throw out like 3 influences at a time and talk about them from my own point of view.
Right.
Because there's so many, like pretty much everybody has influenced me to some degree. I'll always remember, um, newspaper strips were an early comic influence for me. My father picked up 3 papers a day, so there was always like the comic strips in those. And I remember sitting down at my dining room table with the newspaper and flipping to the comics part and taking out a pencil and shading in the Peanuts characters to give them more dimension. It's like you need more dimension to your drawings here. But yeah, well, man, it's great having you on. Like I said, if you want to plug anything else that I haven't already plugged, or talk about anything else, and then you're welcome to right now.
Okay, yeah. So Blueprints and Strategies, my YouTube channel. Blueprints and Strategies, my Instagram, and you can get my Facebook from my YouTube channel, because I'm on a different name in my Facebook. I use my name Facebook. It's Arnold Fuscia, and yeah, I just thank you for having me. I just pray that everybody has a blessed year and rest of the year, and we get through this COVID thing together, and through peace, and just hopefully all us artists stay safe in our studios, create, learn, be inspired, lift each other up. We have social media to inspire each other, to show each other's work, and I know how hard it is sometimes when you put stuff out there and no one comments on it, or realizes you put so much work in it. But just stick it out, and people are going to start looking at it. People want to see it, and just keep working at it. And everybody has their own artistic journey, and I feel blessed to have one. I feel blessed to be part of Peter's artistic journey. And
yeah,
I just want to be inspiration to people. I want to be inspiration to the younger generations, and my making these videos. Hopefully they'll get something out of it and have some fun too, and it's an honor to be part of your life. It's an honor to be part of retro. And, like I said, I want to still be part of it somehow, and
yeah.
it was a lot of fun, man. It really was. And I did it out of love for, the medium, just, and for our friendship. And, I just hope it keeps going.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely, I'll get you a stack of comics when it comes out, okay, so that you can give it to all your friends.
All right. It's gonna be fun.
Cool, man. Great to have you on, and you're welcome on anytime. And maybe I'll come over to your channel one day and we can work on something.
You have to give me some pointers on how to do that, but that'd be cool. I really like to. Really would. So maybe I'll.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this is powered by StreamYard. StreamYard is pretty straightforward, so that's all you need, really.
All right, cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Give the video a like. Share this video with your friends. Potential future artists out there. And I'll see you again next week. All right. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
And keep drawing.